Welcome to the Research Works podcast, brought to you in association with the Healthy Strides Foundation. Your hosts are Dr Dayna Pool
and Dr Ashley Thornton, and we're here to interview world-leading researchers, clinicians and people with lived experience
to support your practice in being more evidence-based. Well, welcome everyone to a very special holiday episode. I hope you've all been having a wonderful holiday season so far. And you know it's a special occasion when we interrupt our usual break between seasons to tell you about something. And this is a very, very excited something for 2025. As you may know, some of you may not be aware, which is why I guess we're doing this chat, is that 2025, such a long word, we have not one, but two international conferences coming our way. We have the combination of the International Alliance of Academies of Childhood Disability and the European Academy of Childhood Onset Disability. And this is going to be a major highlight for the calendar year. We're going to be there. Research Works podcasts are going to be there, and we're really excited about that. But because this is so unique, because this is going to be something that would be so extraordinary for so many of us, we thought, hey, let's do something a bit different. Let's have a chat to the people who are really in charge of making this all happen and find out from them what their vision of this conference is, why we should be going, and what should we expect. So to walk us through this, we have Dr Rainer Blank, President of EACD and IAACD 2025, and Dr Sebastian Schroeder, who is the Chair of the Scientific Committee. Welcome both.
Hello.
Welcome.
Nice to see you and hear.
Oh, it's so great. It's so good. I mean, we've just managed to work out time zones. We've just done a whole lot of stuff on audio to make sure we can make this work. So it is so fantastic to have both of you here. I can't wait to ask you lots of questions. But before we do, in keeping with tradition, what we normally do on this podcast is we ask a few questions of our guests just to get to know them a little bit. And I thought for this one, seeing this is the holiday season and Christmas has just been, and you're from Germany, I have to ask you both, what is Christmas like in Germany? Because from my perspective, it just sounds mystical and amazing. But I'd love to hear what a German Christmas is all about. So who'd like to go first? Who's going to tell me about that? You look ready to go, Rainer?
Yes, I think Christmas for me here is a time of reflection, a time of thinking about different things than the job and the conferences,
yes.
But thinking also about history and also about the story of Jesus Christ, and thinking about to meet people and to get this new information or old information into a new setting in our daily life, actually.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's very special. And I imagine it's quite cold there. I don't know, Sebastian, where are you? It's very different here, but what is it like there for you?
I mean, just looking back at Christmas this year, it was a very special Christmas. For me, of course, it's very important to have time for the family in between the years, spend time together, quality time together. So we had 17 people around at our house. All of the family was there. And of course, it was more wonderful if the world was white, but times are changing. So it's not the frequent white Christmas as it used to be many, many years ago. But anyhow, the Weihnachtsmarkt, the Christmas market was wonderful in Maulbronn, and family was fantastic.
That sounds fabulous. And what's very traditional to eat for Christmas?
I'd say there's not a single traditional food. So there's a variety depending on where you come from, Germany. So there are people who eat small Christmas food, and others make a very large, huge Christmas dinner. So we had something in between. As we had 17 people at our house, it was a combination of making it special and getting everybody fed.
Well, that sounds like it's an international thing. Look, in Australia, we are currently going through a heat wave. So it's a hot Christmas around here, and it's a very different feel. So every time I think about what you might be doing in Germany, yes, it just sounds cold. I can only imagine snow, and I probably imagine that there's reindeers everywhere, but that's what an Australian might think about here for a German Christmas. Anyway, I think I could talk about this for a lot.
It may be even snowing.
Snowing.
Here.
Yeah, it just sounds beautiful. It just sounds so beautiful, but very different. Look, we're looking forward to having a taste of Germany for this particular conference, and it'll be really a different time of the year, of course. But I really want to delve into what this conference is all about. So let's get stuck into it. So Rainer, for you, you're the president of IAACD and EACD. What is so special about the two coming together? Like, what is that all about?
Yeah. Actually, the European Academy is usually meeting every year.
Yeah.
And it's already quite a big meeting because, as you know, we are more than 30 countries in Europe.
Wow, yeah.
But the International Alliance of Academies only meets every 3 years. And of course, the combination of both is a happening we will see here in Europe every 9 to 12 years.
Wow, okay.
Because from now on, the IACD will go to at least 200 other places in the world before we can apply for it in 2034.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it will be a really unique meeting.
Yes.
A really unique meeting, not only for Germany, of course, but also for Europe. And as the Europe is the largest association of academies in the world currently, we will offer a lot of different cultural backgrounds, but also different policies here in Europe.
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing. And I suppose there'll be a theme for this particular conference. What's the theme for this year's combined conference?
I think this fits very well to this high diversity. It's the theme of developing networks and networks for development.
Love that.
So I think it's very diverse and it's very inclusive, very multi-professional, and of course, very international with more than people with more than 70 countries we are expecting.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. I know I'm very excited about it. And Sebastian, you have a very big role as the chair of scientific committee. Tell everyone what are some of your responsibilities of being this particular person?
Oh, well, first of all, the most important thing is that we work as a team. So Rainer is doing much work on this, maybe even more than I am actually, as the president of the conference. And we also have Ross Boyd, who is really giving us a huge support in setting up the scientific program. And I think without two of them, it would be a challenge for me to be here at all. So I think the most important thing from my side is that I try to balance the different ideas to get it together. And as there are so many strong people in the scientific conference, in the scientific committee, we have approximately 40 members in the scientific committee.
Wow.
We need to communicate and coordinate them and try to go the review process of the multiple speaker formats, of going through the free paper abstracts and the poster presentations. So in total, up to now, we have reviewed more than 1,000 abstracts and way more than presenters. And this is just a lot of work, which has to be done background and try to sort them out and have good decisions on why we take somebody maybe and why we do not take somebody as a speaker, or why we have to move someone from a free paper to a poster. Those things really need to be balanced.
Yes.
And to get this together with the whole scientific committee who do the reviewing process, but also they have different opinions, and then you have to make the decision on the final program. That's actually the work in the end, to balance everyone other, to make a complex, a diverse, and a really informative, entertaining program.
And that's what a conference is all about, isn't it? It's being able to engage with different audiences, the people from all different walks of life wanting to learn something in different stages of their career. I know you've thought about this a lot, and when I spoke with you when we were in Bruges, We were talking a lot about how different this conference is going to be, but what are some of the key features about this conference that attendees can expect when they come?
Well, from my view, and Rainer has done a lot of advocacy on this, is that the 2025 meeting is maybe a little bit more diverse as the other ones have been.
Okay.
So the issue or the theme on cerebral palsy will be a very dominant one, as it always is on the EACD conferences.
Yes.
But childhood onset disability and developmental disorders is so diverse and so unique, and there are so many different other developmental disorders, and all of them will get their place in the program.
That's wonderful.
We're trying to really broaden the spectrum for the EACD IAACD 2025 conference.
Yeah.
And I think this is also represented by the keynote speakers. And again, then in the program that you, of course, can always look at on the website.
Yeah.
But I think that's really the key feature of the conference is to broaden up even more on the topic of childhood onset disability, including also the transition into adulthood, as EACD has named them as the organization for also children, adolescents, and adults with childhood onset disability.
And that's great. That really builds on, I remember last year, even when Bernard Dan was talking about, it's the renaming of childhood onset disability now, and we're really building on that. It reflects our current practice, isn't it? Cerebral palsy still remains really dominant, but there's a lot of other conditions that we're seeing now, and we want to work together and to improve their lives. But I love the keynote speakers that you have, and they're so representative. You've been drip feeding them on social media and on the website. So we've got Mark Peterson, who everyone knows very well, from transitions into adulthood is really important in cerebral palsy, but has been on the podcast before, and Jill Zwicker, DCD. Any other keynote speakers that you can share with us as well, Sebastian?
Well, we start already on Wednesday evening, and we have a fantastic opening ceremony. And thanks to Christian Scharf, who is the vice president of the conference, he's the head of the genetics department at the Heidelberg medical faculty. He has a good connection to Huda Zogby, and she's one of the most famous world-renowned experts on Rett syndrome.
Yes.
So we will have a fantastic opening keynotes, and then from Thursday to Friday and Saturday we have a huge variety. So you mentioned already Mark Peterson, Jill Zwicker, but we have Kath Benfer from Australia.
Beautiful.
You know her probably much better than I. Cover the topic about early intervention, but then, as we mentioned before, we have all these other childhood onset disabilities. So, for example, Tobias Banaszewski, he's a German expert on ADHD and long-term impact on life. So we are really looking forward to his keynote. We have Andrea Guzzetta from Italy. He will talk about cerebral visual impairment.
Yes.
So this will be another new perspective which has grown in the last years. We will hear Petrus de Vries from South Africa, and he will talk about his strategies on autism spectrum disorder in lower and middle income countries.
Brilliant.
Then we have also another German keynote speaker, which is Jan Bernd Kirschner from Freiburg. And he will give us some insight about his long-lasting experience in gene therapies in neuromuscular disorders. So I think gene therapies are a really evolving new option for childhood onset disability, as it has a genetic background. In these cases, then gene therapy is becoming more and more dominant. So we are really looking forward to hear from him about some long-term experiences in neuromuscular disorders like spinal muscle atrophy or Duchenne.
Fantastic.
We have some panel discussions as well. So, for example, Wade and Thomas Dreher will talk about the long-term perspective and indications of surgery and what's in for the patients. This is, of course, pretty much focusing on children with cerebral palsy, adults. So these are I hope I haven't forgotten anyone yet, because there are so many.
So many.
Maybe Rainer needs to help me and add something else. The CP Foundation will also have a lot. So yes, it will be very, very full.
Sounds very impactful. Rainer, do you have anything more to add about that?
Yeah, possibly. There are much more to add, actually. But we have to focus on the most essential thing. And I think one of the most essential thing is we have about 1,500 1,500 presentations with more than 1,000 speakers and presenters and international experts. You will see the who is who. And what is, for me, the most impressive things are our pre-conferences. I've never had I think it's an additional world meeting, actually, 2 days before the opening.
Yes.
It's on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yep.
And it's so fascinating. We have the most renowned speakers from 6 continents just presenting and teaching and interacting and having and learn and giving opportunity to learn and to have more intensive interaction and discussion and on all the fields of childhood onset disabilities you can imagine. More than 21 different parts, 15 half-day symposia, 6 full-day symposia. And this is all also in the beautiful place of the Monastery Maulbronn, which is almost 1,000 years old.
Wow.
And on the other hand, we have the HCC, the Heidelberg Convention Center, which is less than 1 year old.
Oh, what a range. So 2 different venues that it's going to happen over.
Year.
That's incredible.
So the oldest and the youngest in Germany we can have. So yes, I think it will be very attractive.
Look, it sounds exciting. You've gone through, there's a lot of speakers. I don't even know how we're going to interview so many people in the podcast. We're bringing a bigger team so we can interview as many people as we can, because these episodes are usually so highly listened to. So that's really exciting. There's so much to look forward to. But let's talk really briefly about actual Heidelberg itself. What makes Heidelberg so unique? I mean, I've looked it up and it looks beautiful. But there's more to Heidelberg, isn't there?
Yeah, I think Heidelberg is one of the most visited places actually in Germany, because it unites sort of the classical feature of a German romantic town with an old castle ruin, with an old bridge, with an old with a river, and with forest.
I'll be there.
And with and with a very modern university, which is one of the excellent centers. Let's say the Oxford of Germany.
Wow.
And so it combines these 2 features, and it's actually the oldest university in Germany and in Mid-Europe.
Wow.
So I think, it has a lot also to offer. It's a very touristic, very international place, but it's still not a very large city. It's only a city with 160,000 inhabitants.
Okay.
So yes, people have to book their hotels quite early because in summer it's very crowded and it's the hotels are booked out.
Okay, no, that's really good advice. So final things now. I mean, Sebastian, anything from you about what you're most looking forward to about the conference? And I mean, you've already described it, but yeah.
I mean, there's so much more than just the keynotes and the free papers and the seminar. So I think one important thing maybe that people are interested to hear about is also that we also are working on a night track, which is an activity that the IAACD has started quite some years ago, which helps us to include the world into presentations in Germany. There will be an online meeting taking place going around the globe.
Wow.
And we are also
unique.
organizing Skills Lab, that's what we call it, in order to have hands-on training. And this will probably be also for the young visitors very interesting to learn from the experts how they do clinical routine, clinical practice. So this might also be interesting and be a good idea or a good argument to come to Heidelberg because it's not only an on-site conference, but there will also be some online hybrid formats taking place. We're still working on this, but all people that register early, so early registration deadline is end of January. The more people register very early, the more we know how to organize and set up also a good online and hybrid content. This is something developing and need to balance. And last but not least, what I would really like to emphasize is also the action day that we are working on Saturday. So for people with lived experience and families, there will be activities taking place in Neckargmünd, which is really nearby of Heidelberg, at a wonderful area where we have some sort of Olympiad and
that's brilliant. That's wonderful.
All the people that we're doing research for. So these are just the key, the cornerstones for the program. And I think most of it can be seen now developing on the website. So if you are interested, just go to the website and have a look at this in more detail, maybe in more clarity. That's what I would like one more time.
Okay, that sounds really good. Rainer, any last remarks from you? I mean, I do need to hear about the dinner venue and the menu. That's something I'm very interested in.
Yeah, of course. We will have the gala dinner also at another very nice cultural place at the Palace and Gardens of Schwetzingen, which is close by Heidelberg, which is a very nice venue. And so you will have dinner party in a palace, actually, and of course, you will also be able to walk around in the gardens. And of course, also, if you come to the pre-conferences, you get the free shuttles to Maulbronn, and you will have not only the conferences, the pre-conferences, but also you can have a visit of the UNESCO World Heritage of the Monastery Maulbronn, one of the best preserved in Europe.
Wow.
And to the Child Center Maulbronn, which is one of the largest social pediatric center, where you get a sort of insight of the practice, and you can also have a look around here, beside of these fantastic brief conferences I mentioned already, and from early identification and intervention towards policy, international policy, participation, sex and aging, artificial intelligence, and many more.
Wow. Okay.
So, it's I really guess and advise people to take more days, let's say 2 days in addition to the main conference, to get a sort of impression of this really singular meeting, and really a chance of learning and experience and networking.
I mean, it sounds so much, there's so much there. And right now I'm feeling pretty excited for this year to just actually happen so I can get on with it. Can you just extrapolate on the shuttle? You mentioned a shuttle there, Rainer. I'm sure people would want to know more about the shuttle. Is it a shuttle bus, is it?
Yeah, and yes, there will be a shuttle bus only during the pre-conferences, actually.
Okay.
The shuttle will be from Heidelberg Conference Center to Maulbronn Monastery.
Brilliant, okay.
And it will be in the morning and at noon.
Okay.
So people can also visit a half-day conference in Heidelberg and visit a half-day conference in Maulbronn, or just coming for half a day to Maulbronn to visit places, or just to enjoy nature here.
Brilliant. Because when I was looking at that, I'm like, it's a bit of a distance. Would I need to hire a car? But I don't need to do that. You've got the shuttle bus. You thought of everything. I love that.
It's free. It's included in all the fees.
Oh, gosh. That's brilliant. Okay. So now that you've got me adequately excited by the conference, I can't wait to be there. I feel like I need to finish with one last thing. And the fact that you're both, I know that English is not your native language, and I've said this many times, every time I go to Europe, I'm terrible at pronouncing anyone's names that's not in English, and I feel so ashamed. I only speak one language. But I feel like when I'm in Germany, I'm going to need to make sure I know a few good German phrases. can you give us any hot tips for all of us who are coming into Germany that we need to make sure we can say properly? We can start practicing. Send me something easy.
Ich möchte etwas Gutes essen.
Oh gosh, that sounds
I
hard.
want to eat something good.
Okay, can you say it one more time?
Ich möchte etwas Gutes essen.
Okay, I'll need to
I want to
practice that.
eat something
I want
good.
to eat something good. Okay, that's a good one. That's a really good phrase. Sebastian, anything for you? A good phrase?
I will start very simple. Hallo, wie heißt du?
Hallo, wie
And
heißt
that means,
du?
hi, what's your name? Yeah, and from there on, networking starts in any place at any time. So if you say, hallo, wie heißt du?
I can start that one. Okay.
Then
Okay, so to everyone who's planning on coming, let's make sure we learn these phrases. Let's start with this. Let's start with these conversations. I think that's brilliant. Look, I know there's so much about this conference for us to talk about, and it's not very usual for us to talk about a conference this much in advance. We usually talk about it just before we go. But we find that when we do that, it doesn't give people a chance to consider whether they want to head to the conference there themselves. So this is a very unique thing that's coming up. As you can tell, I'm excited about it. Like I said, the podcast is going to be there. We are incredibly thrilled that we're part of this conference once again, because this is so unique and there's so many people to speak with. But likewise, it's even better when you're there in person and certainly to meet all the other international speakers and come to meet us, talk to us at the podcast station as well, because we love meeting everyone that's interested in this area. Because at the end of the day, the reason why we do this, the reason why we're interested in this is because we all want to learn together. And you said it beautifully before, Sebastian, you know, you might be the chair of the scientific committee, but you're part of a team. And it's only through a team that we can achieve really great things. And us as a global community of health professionals and researchers, we can only improve care if we do it together. And it's these conferences that allow us to do that. And I love that you've thought of all different ways of connecting with people around the world, hybrid versions, even having us there so we can help to circulate more information. It's the bigger picture. And I feel like this is the future and this is the bigger picture. So thank you for all the work that you are doing to prepare. I've convened one conference much smaller than yours, and it was a lot of work on top of a full-time job. You're both very busy doctors working in hospitals and supervising and supporting people. So thank you for doing that work, because we're going to benefit from that so much. So thank you so much, both Dayna and Sebastian.
Well, Dayna, thank you. You promoting the conference next year really gives the people an insight and make up their decision maybe in between the years or early 2025 if it is worth coming.
Yeah.
And it will be coming either in person or online. And we will continue to try to get everybody engaged, even experts, practitioners.
I love that.
Families, people with lived experience. And this is what we are really aiming for, coming together in any way.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank
for supporting
you.
this.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Dayna. And I also want to let people know, especially the families and users, they are also warmly welcomed.
Yeah, brilliant.
And we want to have them here because consumer-led research is only something if you can have consumers with you and people who are really telling you something about your life. And actually, you may get a taste by the videos we have weekly on our website from the 17 countries from 5 continents on International Voices of Childhood Disability, in order to get a taste of the worldwide networking we started 2 years ago. And we hope to continue after the Congress.
Look, that's just brilliant. There's so much there to think about. And I hope that, hopefully this episode helps you to think about that whilst you're pondering away on your holiday, everyone. So let's start 2025 well together. And we'll put a link of the website for the conference as well through our website, researchworks.net, and on through our social media, just to help you access information a little bit better. But we'll be back with more episodes for our fabulous new season at ResearchWorks. You know, we've just passed over 200 episodes, and that's just the beginning. So we're going to have more conversations with more people about important work as we lead up to the conference. So we'll say thank you very much once again for joining us all the way from Germany, and stay online whilst I say goodbye to everyone. But thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great holiday season, and we'll talk to you all again when our season recommences. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.